Okay, we call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Brewer. Here. Trustee Carter.
Here.
Trustee Grant. Here. Trustee Tate. Trustee Todd. Here.
Okay, first item up is the request for funds from the department heads. I'm gonna pass it around to the trustees. These are the amounts that each department has requested after going back and forth, letting them know that we only had a certain amount. And with that, it will still be right there at the threshold of the amount that we had talked about for reserves from the sale. So it still would stay under that amount of 700, and I think it's 758,000 that will go into reserves.
It'd be nice to know what makes up these amounts.
What do you mean?
I see dollar amounts. I'd like to know what it is that makes it up. Sorry. I see dollar amounts listed for each of the departments. However, I don't see what comprises those amounts. For instance, the police department lists out $75,000, but I don't know if that is one item, 15 items, what the individual items are. It would be nice to know what they would like.
Okay, they were.
I was hoping when I was asking to talk about this tonight that we would see the individual lists.
No, we're not going to dictate what they want to purchase with that. I mean, that's just like their budget. If their budget is so much, we don't tell them what they can use the budget money for. If they want to purchase whatever, that's part of their budget. When their budget is gone, then their budget is gone.
But I thought
if we're going to do that, then we're going to tell them how to spend their money?
But I thought when you put that out there to them, you said bring a list of what you want to us so that we can see what you want.
Yes, I did tell them to bring a list. I need to know how much each department would need. As far as what they're going to do with that, it's all village related. It's all related to their departments. They can't use the money for anything else other than anything that enhance their departments. They haven't had any enhancement in those departments in over 10 years. So a lot of that could be rejuvenating some of the items, some of their equipment. A lot of it could be used to purchase items that they need to purchase that they haven't updated, upgraded, and over. The last I've heard, they said it was like 10 or 11 years last time some of them were able to even get any updated material or updated equipment. Some of that is equipment, some of our equipment is outdated. I'm just able to, you know, I mean, they haven't been able to do this, I mean, in years. I do know the last time that was, some of these vehicles were purchased was in the 90s. Is it all vehicles? No. But a couple of them I think are, a couple of departments are, a couple of vehicles that over 20, 15, 16 years old. And so I didn't want to get into the fact of being able, or actually telling them what they can and cannot buy. This is the amount of money that, because there was some of them that had a little bit more on there, and I told them we had to cut it down. Public Works got the majority because they're doing more business, I mean more buildings. They have Public Works, they have this building here, they have the community center. So that's why, and that's a lot of things that they're using that for, so that's why their budget is higher. The police department, there's things in the police department that needs to be taken care of that haven't been taken care of in quite a while. I mean, a long while. Fire department, he asked for the driveway. The driveway is a couple of $100,000, but there's equipment and infrastructure inside the fire department that needed to be taken care of. Should have been taken care of for a while. So those are the things that that they made that decision what they wanted to do, and they brought the amounts back. I mean, there was a lot of trimming. ESDA had, oh wow, ESDA had probably the most, and he had to trim his group down to the least because just didn't have that much money for the things that he wanted. Yes, he needs vehicles, but we just didn't have that much to take care of all the vehicles that he feels he needs at this particular point. So he has to deal with what he's gonna be dealt, the hand he's gonna be dealt with.
Well, and I don't think I was saying I wanted the ability to say yes or no, but I would like to see what they're gonna buy with this. And I don't think that's unreasonable.
My question again is, if that's, okay, what would be the reason why you were seeing what they're going to buy with it? Okay. But, okay, this is my question then. You're saying that unless you find out what they're gonna spend the money for, you don't wanna vote it out, is that what it's saying?
No, we're not.
Okay, well, that's what I'm asking, because, yes, everyone they have a list, but, I mean, when they get their budget, every year they get their budget, they see what they have to deal with. They come before the board and say, I need a little bit more money. I leave this, and this up to the board to decide on whether they want to increase it and where they're going to take it from to make that happen. But I didn't think the board, at least when I was a trustee, I didn't tell the person that, well, I know you need this vehicle, but I don't think you need to get that right now. I think you should get X, Y, and Z. I never asked to see what they wanted to buy. I'm looking at how much money that we had to be able to for them to use it for. I mean, that's why the department has to make the decision on what their department needs. So, I mean, as far as you being able to see what it is that, I mean, I have that list. If that's going to make a difference, then we can delay this until you see the list.
Personally, I'd like to see what they have on their list versus what was left on the table that is still what they want and what weren't able to get because it was left on the chopping block. Obviously, you've had conversations with them to pare it down to these numbers. There's more that they still want that they had to trim to get to these 4 amounts. So even though the police department got X, they wanted Y. You know, that's true for everybody. So what didn't they get? You know, not only do I want to see what they are gonna get, what didn't they get? You know, for instance, you said the driveway, right? What else was on the list that they didn't get versus what are they gonna get with this?
Okay, but my question is, if you see, which you probably is no problem, where are we gonna get the extra money from is my.
I don't know, but I would hope that it's on the budget. I would hope that a lot of this stuff were things that we had to cut from this past year's budget when we were having the budget conversations that Saturday, and as we had to pare away, you know, because I'm thinking about the fire department, for instance, when we had the chief in here talking about all the things that were on his list in the budget that we had to cut from his budget that day, you know, to make sure that we could have him live within his budget numbers. I'm hoping that a lot of those items are in his list. And if they're not in his list, why aren't they? Because they were important enough to have in his budget for this year. And if they're not in these numbers, then I guess they shouldn't have been as important to be in the budget to begin with. So that's where I'm thinking there should be a correlation. But that's just me.
Okay, well, what I can do to expedite this, then we can table this until you get and this, I'll ask the trustees, you want to table this until you get their actual shopping list, as you want to call
Yeah,
No, they're not going to send an email. I mean, I have the list, but I mean, that's what you want. If you want a copy of their wish list items, that's basically what you're saying, the items that they're asking for with this amount, then versus what I don't even know if they still have what they asked and they didn't include. They do have a list of what they included. Now, how they got it broke down and what they took off at the time, I didn't keep a tally of that. So I don't know if they still do have that. So is it, let me get this clear. Do you want a list? I do have the list of what it is they asked for. I just brought the amounts out. Or do you want a list of what they wanted and what they were able to break it down to? Is that what, that's what I'm asking?
I think both.
Okay.
And then, so if we do approve this, how soon will they start, you know, be able to purchase these items on the
As
list?
soon as it's approved.
Okay. And then, so whatever they whatever they didn't get the chance to buy out of this a lot of money, will they get their remaining things on a wish list in the new budget for next year?
That's up to the budget. I mean, it's up to, I mean, and I see what you're saying. If they don't get it here, will it go on the budget? Will it fit in? I mean, don't forget now, when they go with the budget, they got a lot of other entities that are already in contractual that they have to abide by. The police department, they still got salaries and everything else that goes along with that. So, I mean, what are they gonna cut out just to get? If they want some other things, they may want more vehicles. At this particular point in time, they may not have the money for vehicles. I can tell you this right here, what this is with the police department is basically the police department, the building itself and things that need to be done in that building. There is no vehicles in his money. But I'm just saying that if that's what you want, I mean, if they decide that they want to use that and subsidize some of their money for the budget and take some things out and add to it, they have to make sure that they have enough money to sustain their budget for the whole year. So I don't see them coming. This is something, as I stated before, that we're going to try to help because they haven't had any updates and anything added to those departments in years. I mean, years. But it's not including salaries. I didn't want this to be part of salaries because once the money's gone, we're going to just lay someone off because we have no money coming in. So salary should be based on money that's going to be coming in, not one-time sale money. So it shouldn't be anything. And none of this is salaries. But the budget is salary.
Mr. Mayor, there is no reason to table this. Are we saying that we don't trust our department heads and we want to micromanage? We're giving them money. What we're giving them money right now is to improve the locations where they're at. You've had citizens stand up here and say that they didn't have furniture in the police station. Now we're going to tell them don't buy the furniture because we're going to put it on hold because we don't believe that they're going to do what they're supposed to do. Give these people the money, give these people the opportunity, give them the authority to run their sections. We have no need to micromanage them. We've been discussing this for the last 6 to 7 months or more. And the same thing is on the floor. Let's pass it. Let's let them get started.
Well, let me say this. We as trustees are supposed to know what we passing out money for.
And we as trustees...
Wait, hold on a minute. I haven't finished talking. We as trustees are supposed to, if they're going to buy something, we're supposed to let them know how much is in the budget for it, okay? So it doesn't matter if they get it or not. We as trustees have to vote it out. Secondly, I'm all for that getting money for the public works for a car, because they got 88 something. They really need a car over there. My question is to you is that $15,000 was taken out of the water fund to put into the fire fund for the foreign fire fund for last year's budget. And I want to know, is that part of being that replaced?
No,
then?
that's not
okay.
it.
Well, we as trustees, I want to reiterate it again, when we buy something, we have to know how much it costs and what we're going to pay for.
We as trustees have to make sure that they have the equipment to do the jobs that they're supposed to do. The police department needs snares to catch dogs. The police department has been argued by the citizens here that they need furniture. One lady even stood up and said they didn't have soap. So now all of a sudden we're going to hold up the money that they can start.
Yeah, I wasn't suggesting we hold it up, anything up.
Then we need to get down to the business of moving this on. We've been discussing this for 8 months, and this has been, we've had these people that put this stuff down for a long time.
No, I'm gonna hold you back there. We have asked for this. The mayor has asked for it, the department heads were a little lax in getting the information to him, so that's on the department heads.
And the last
Now
time
that
that he
we've
asked
got it, now that we've got it, we can move forward.
And the
All I'm
last time
asking
the mayor
for
asked
is
for
the
that was last
information.
month.
Hold on just a second, hold on just a second. First of all, it's a nightmare to do minutes if you guys are going back and forth, because when she tries to transcribe it, it's someone talking over someone else. So can we wait, if we're gonna say something, then let one person finish before we start talking with the other one, so at least when it comes time to transcribe the minutes, they can kind of know who it is, even though we're not putting our names and saying, I'm trustee so-and-so. But at least it gives them a time, or gives her a chance to transcribe the minutes and not be someone talking over someone. So that's all I'm asking. We can go back and forth, and that's what this is for, to go back and forth and discuss it. So
So,
but I just
Mr.
ask that
Mayor,
we just, wait till another person finish when we start.
Mr. Mayor, I think you're the one who brought up holding it up, and I didn't bring that up. I simply said I think it would be nice for us to have the information so that we know what the department heads are going to do with the funds. And what would also be nice for us to know what they were not able to purchase, that they had to pare down, so that we would ideally see that those items that they were not able to purchase end up on their list for this coming year's budget.
Okay, so then maybe I stand corrected. So what you're asking is, even though, you just want to see what the list is, that's not going to stop this from being put on the agenda for next week. Okay. You'll get that tomorrow. And then any other questions? Okay. That'll go for tomorrow. The next, yes, I do want this on the agenda, the amounts and everything, and then they'll have the shopping list, grocery list, however you want to call it, in their boxes tomorrow, as a matter of fact. I'll make sure of that. No, I'll just put it in your boxes. Because I don't know, somebody may not have gotten the email or whatever. This way I know that it's been put out there. Okay, the next item. Well, we can if all night. So, but I understand that. So at some point in time, we have to go with, trust. Okay, well, I'm sorry. I still believe in trust. I still believe there are trustworthy people out there. The next item is the policy for election canvassing and campaigning. This is something that was brought to me. Yes, we're skipping over the next two. There's no need for the RFQ for the Cook County Invest in Cook County grant. It was told, and then we found out later that Cook County said there's no need. If you only have one person to submit one, then you can go with that one. I was told earlier that you needed more than one, but come to find out from Cook County themselves. They said if there's only one person, you gave plenty of time to respond. No one else did. There's no use to holding it up and go and do an evaluation for that rail spur that's going to be over there in TIF number 3. The revisions for the landscaping RFP. I looked on the last agreement, and it is a agreement there that we would extend for 1 more year. So I don't see a need. I haven't seen anything that would make us want to, the job that he was asked to do and the things he was asked to do, I saw that it was, I haven't heard any complaints what he did not do. Yes, there's some things that we couldn't get to, quite naturally, but most of the things that he was asked to do, the landscaper was done in an orderly and a timely manner. So I don't see a reason for going any further with that. Next year, his contract will be up. This time next year, we can put out an RFQ for that, and if we get some other people to get involved in that, that's fine. Yes. RFP, I'm sorry.
But I know you got we have information about the RFP. However, I think we need a vendor's history report to show how much money has been paid out for the, what's the name of the landscaping company for, I think they started in April or something, and it goes up until October, I think it is. So I would like to see what's money been paid out and how much is left. It's my understanding that we got $75,000 for this particular grant, and we're gonna be reimbursed. However, I'd like to know how much we actually paid for this grass cutting season.
Okay.
And I like a vendor history report to see how much was actually paid out and how much, if any money is left. I also like to
Okay.
know.
You said that. You said that. That's what you said.
I'm not finished.
Trustee.
Also, I would like to know if we covered the 112 houses. You know, did we do all 112, or how many houses did we cut? Or since if we got some money left over, and we're gonna get this additional 75,000, are we gonna get, cover more houses? So, you know, things like that, I'd like to know.
Are you through?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna get the report.
If you're through, you asked for a report of what was
The
spent.
vendor history report for the, I don't know the name of the, vendor right offhand that did the grass cutting. And, how many houses did we do? It should
Okay.
show on the vendor history report.
Okay, I asked you were you through. If you're through, then I'm gonna try to answer that. First of all, we can get a copy of how many houses that this particular landscaper did. I don't know where that 112 came from, that we had 112 houses that he's supposed to take care of. I never heard that one. I never even knew there was a set amount of homes that the landscaper was supposed to take care of. I never saw that, but I can find out how many he did take care of and how many he did do and what was the money was spent for. And it doesn't necessarily have to mean all landscaping, because the money was not just for landscaping, it was for cleanup and demolition also. So it wasn't just landscaping. So everything to deal with the money, we can definitely find out what was the money used for this particular grant that we got. That's a report that can be done. That's not a problem. Okay. The next item, policy for election canvassing and campaigning. It was brought, like I said a few minutes ago, it was brought to my attention that there is nothing written in stone for canvassing and campaigning inside the village hall. It's been, to my own experience, that it was and I'm going to use this word lightly, a gentleman's agreement that we would not do any electioneering inside of the rotunda area in here at any time during campaigning season. But there's nothing written down, and was nothing ever voted on that I know of, and I couldn't find anything to say what they can and cannot do in the village hall. So I'm asking now the trustees, do they want to have it to be brought up, to be written down, and to be voted on, the do's and don'ts of electioneering and campaigning in the village hall? Okay. Anybody else?
No, I think it's too late. The election is right around the corner. And
We're not talking about just this election. We're talking about election, period.
It'll be too many. I mean, it'd be good if we start after April, but right now it's.
But you're not understanding what I'm saying. It's not about this election. This agreement that I know of, stems all the way back to 2005 that I know of. Now, what happened before then, I don't know, because I wasn't involved. But in 2005, it was not allowed to happen. But there was nothing written down. It was just an agreement that everybody agreed to not do it. But over the years, things have changed. So why am I going to wait until after April to put something together to have it voted on? It's not just for this election. It's for elections, period.
Well, we don't want to rush it through before April.
Who said rush it through, trustee?
And we could start working on a more comprehensive plan after April, because if we start on it now, they'll be rushing things through and it won't come out right. I mean, this is my opinion. And then after April, we have up to 2021 to really put in some meat items for campaign literature and, you know, campaign do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. Okay, I'm not asking anything. I'm saying that if we, no, okay, okay. If we do this right now, okay, everybody has to vote on it, and we have to vote on it soon.
No. Mr. Mayor, the rules, regulations, policies, and procedure need to go into place immediately.
Okay.
And that's for the next election to come up and for the time to come.
Okay, okay, excuse me just a second. As I stated before, this has nothing to do with the upcoming election. This has something to do with the elections, period. I know nowhere that rush to have it done was said. I didn't say it, and I don't know where it came from. But who said anything about rushing to do something? If you're going to do it, you do it right. You come up with a list. You come up with ideas. You vote on it. You talk about it. You discuss it, and then you pass it. So, but why do we have to start after a certain date if this is going to be something that needs to be taken care of? I'm sorry. What did you say, trustee? I didn't hear. You're mumbling. I didn't hear what you said because I don't understand why do we have to wait until a certain time.
I said we wait for a certain time, so we won't be rushing through.
Who says anything about? But you keep saying.
I'm saying it.
But there is no rush.
There is a rush. I think nobody would pay attention.
Does any other trustee feel that we're trying to rush into something? I'm asking other trustees. Does any other trustee feel we're trying to rush into something?
You gotta speak up.
Can I make a comment, please? I'm reading the memo that we received, and it looks like you're looking for an ordinance to be put in place, or are you looking for a policy?
Either one. Something that's a rule, something that's voted on by the board to have teeth under to be enacted. So it would have to be an ordinance or something that has to be voted on. So it will be something clear cut to know what you can and cannot do, not just because someone say you shouldn't do it. It should be something written down and say this is what you can and cannot do like we do everything else.
And who are you looking to have author that?
Whoever would like to, and the input can be, I'm sure the trustees have input in it, so. It has to come before the trustees too.
You know, when you consider that I'm going to and here you are. I am the one who authored the memo to get this started. And this memo was sent to you, the trustees, in November. However, before November, I addressed this issue probably in July or August of 2017. In November, when I put pen to paper, then it was determined that the Ordinance Review Committee would establish a policy that we did not need in.
Hold on just a second. Please, let her finish so we can.
I'm just giving you the history because you all love history and I can keep it in my mind so I can share it with you, okay? So at that time, it was assigned to the Ordinance Committee to establish policy because it was stated that we did not need an ordinance. This is not a new memo. I just put it in your packets this time so that you can remember that this was brought before this board a couple of times before. Ordinance Review says they don't do policy. So, and that piece is fine. But we're not going to keep going around and around in circles for a policy that people have failed to commit to since 2004. You know, and then, I mean, because I can remember one time being at the front desk and one of the staff up front, and I was talking to my neighbor. And I said, oh, neighbor, I'm running for office. And I was so, oh, you can't have that conversation here. And I'm like, excuse me? You know what I mean? So it begs to have a written policy so that everyone knows who's on first, who's on second. The purpose of me asking that this be back on the agenda tonight is so that we can have a discussion about it. You can give your feedback in terms of where, if any place, should campaign literature be, where should petitions be, or just any and everything that you think that's relative to campaigning and how you would like to see it done or not done. We're not rushing through anything. It can take 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, but unless you finally get started, it's not going to happen. I need this as your election official. It would be very helpful for me to know what I can enforce and what I cannot. As people come into this village with their loaded down with their campaign literature or wanting to talk to you guys or whatever, just give me some information, and it does not have to be for April the 2nd. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for giving me an opportunity to speak.
That being said, can you give us an outline of what you feel, and then we can discuss it at the next meeting? At least we have an outline, and we can start from there. We can discuss it at the next meeting. It may take a few meetings to get this. Well, you're going to have, there's got to be one person, because we can, okay. They will after we get the outline. After we get an outline, we can have our blueprint to go by. But if we're going to have 5 different ways, then we'll never get it anyway. So I'm asking for just an outline coming from you, and then we can present it at the next committee meeting, and then we can go from there.
So I will be happy to share my opinion. The reason why I ignored this the first time it came around was because I am content with the gentleman's agreement that has been in place as long as I've been aware, is that you do not do any electioneering at village property. And I'm happy to continue that through the April election until a policy is agreed, one way or the other.
Okay. All right, well, then we'll do that. We'll wait until we have something in front of us.
Okay, and Trustee Brewer quietly said she agreed with me over here.
Okay, we're going to, that part will be coming forth as we get the information. We'll bring it up, and next time at the committee meeting, if we have something to present, we will bring that up and give updates until we get it taken care of. The last item is a resolution, which you should have in front of you, for maintenance, and this is for our MFT money. We have to do this every year. We ask for X amount of money. We usually ask for a little bit more than what they give us. This is for the maintenance. Quite naturally, you can see it's IDOT, the Department of Transportation. They ask us to fill this out each and every year to give them an idea of what we need the money for, which they know what it is anyway, but they need itemization, I guess, for their records. So we're asking for $120,000. Usually we get maybe 100, but we'll see what happens. Everything changes, I guess. The personnel changes downstate. think other things change. But it's something that we need to put on the agenda for next week to be voted on, to submit this application. And is there any questions, first of all? Are there any questions that anyone may have on this? It seems like it's pretty much self-explanatory. We do it every year. And they just basically need to see it filled out, and the unit cost is already set there for what we need it for. So it's basically a due diligence. Are there any questions on that? Okay, well, now I'll ask Madam Clerk to put this on the agenda so we can get this taken care of, voted on, and then submitted this information to IDOT so we can get that process started. Okay. Public comment. All questions and comments will be directed to the mayor. Each speaker may comment on any matter pertaining to the village of Sauk Village. Each speaker is allowed one opportunity to speak for up to 3 minutes and may not engage in debate or countless discussions. I will answer all questions after the comments have been made. When you come up, please give your name. And that's it.
Judy Gast here. I'm back on my old subject because a lot of things bothering me with it. The first one is I want to indicate that I have a recording of a dispatch call that happened at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, approximately a week and a half ago. And it bothered me to a great degree. So I made a recording of it. And it was the dispatcher calling our police officer to tell him that she had numerous times tried to contact the village hall, but there was no response. Therefore, the police officer had to stop what he was doing and come to the village hall to see if anybody was working that day. Now, I know you said a while back that we were going to get an upgrade on whatever, and we're going to be put in little mailboxes as to who we want to speak to. But I don't see why, with the people that you have hired, they can't pick up a phone. I have been in here to pay a water bill, stood in that line and listened to that phone ring and ring and ring, and nobody took notice until I said, is anybody going to answer the damn phone? And that's when somebody finally picked it up.
1 minute.
I want to know, when was the last time that our police officers received a uniform allowance? I know you've already talked about this tonight. Make certain that things are being done. I want to know what's been done regarding to the ghetto conditions at the police department. With the chief having meetings with school children and other people in the station, this doesn't look good at all. We still have the lousy looking furniture, and it's more than 7 years old because some of that furniture was here when my husband was here. Has anybody thought to check on the police department basement for mold reoccurrence?
9.
You purchased 3 vehicles for squads, but kept 1 for yourself. And I want to know, why were regular vehicles purchased and not squad upgraded vehicles? The vehicles that we have now are painted and look like a squad car, and they have lights on it and they have a radio in it, but that's all it has. Over and over on the scanner, we hear police officers that have to stop what they're doing because the vehicle can't keep up with who they're trying to follow and see where they're going.
Your time is up.
They're not upgraded vehicles for squad cars.
Your time is up. I just have a question. You said, I just want to make sure, did you, about the police department, did you say ghetto?
Yep,
What does that mean?
that means to me it's a filthy hole.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I just want to know.
Linda Washington. First of all, I just want to commend you trustees Coupon for asking questions about what the department heads want to do with the money. That's what trustees are supposed to do. Not only are you all supposed to know the money that come in the village and watch the money and be accountable for the money, somebody may have a decision where they want to take money that's been given to their department and do whatever that they feel they want to do with it. You have a right to know what's going on with the money in the village. At least you're asking questions. Also, I wanted to say in regard to the policy and what should be done in the rotunda, if you make a policy or an ordinance, and the ordinance says that people cannot wear buttons or hats or pass out literature in the rotunda or anywhere in the village or have a conversation with somebody about politics, what are you gonna do if they do it? I mean, what are you gonna do? Take them to jail? Put them in handcuffs because they're talking? All you can do is what you're doing right now. Would you remove your hat? Would you take off that button? You can't pass out literature in here. What are you going to do if they do it? I'm interested to know what would the penalty be. Also, I want to talk about social media. You have in front of you one of the latest, dumbest things that the staff here at Village Hall go on social media and write. I mean, I enjoyed the laugh. So hilarious to me. That people that we are paying all of this money to don't have nothing to do but sit up on social media and continue to write. So I want you to know, as the village mayor and trustees, that this also is going in my packet to all the local pastors and elected officials to let them know the time and the date when they do all this stuff on Facebook is all printed and it's all accounted for. And while you're busy worrying about what my ex-husband is doing, you need to worry about what your now husband is doing. Have a great day.
Debbie Williams, good evening everyone. I was going through the treasurer's report online and I noticed that the last treasurer's report does not have the salaries listed individually. They have them lumped together by ranges. That's never been done in the past, so I don't know why it's being done now. I think that that should be broken down individually, as it has been in the past. Last week we approved the accounts payable, and included in that accounts payable was the police department's pay. And it came to light after that meeting that some police officers were short paid. And I was wondering if the amount on the accounts payable reflects the fact that it was their actual payroll that they were short paid, number one. Number two, is it true that there are still some police officers that have not gotten fully paid? Number three, why is that? Also, when it comes to electioneering, and I appreciate the clerk bringing this back up because it's been brought up several times in the past several years, and the last time I remember, there may even be minutes that reflect this. Then, I believe it was Trustee Burgess at the time, said that only in the rotunda did election material not be allowed. I can go back on the minutes and look, but I think that's the way it was. But I agree that it should be at no village building, because that just seems appropriate. But when I tried to make a statement of that several times in the last couple elections, I was told no, that it was okay to pass things out in the senior center and the community center and outside of the village hall. I never agreed with it, other people did it. All I'm saying is let's level the playing field. If one person can do it, we can all do it. And if one person can't do it, then we all should not be able to do it. And the last thing is, town hall meetings, I think they're a great thing. I've brought it up several times. I think social media the other day had an old post about social media where we had boards and we were told about things that were happening and things that were in progress, and we were able to ask questions. We didn't have a 3-minute time limit. We could ask any questions we wanted, talk about whatever we want. I think they're really great, and I think that we need to bring that back, not only during election time, but afterwards, because 3 minutes right here is really not enough time to discuss the things that we need to discuss. It doesn't give everybody an opportunity to bring up the things that they want to talk about. So again, I just wanted to mention, town hall meetings are a great thing. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Kathy Betcher. Last week I came up and I asked about a gentleman that came here and presented a free program for the children, and was told that he never called back. Well, it was left when he was here. He asked that Trustee Carter call him. Do you think we can get that done? We need to have more programs for these children besides 3 days of open gym. We need to get some programs for the children, whether they be an arts program, sports program, crafts, something. Get these children into programs, especially when they're free. Second thing, I told you I was going to be here every week asking, have you started the process to hire more policemen? I understand that they weren't paid. Have you ever heard of the blue flu? I hope we don't get an epidemic of it. Everybody else got paid, not the people that protect us. That's ridiculous.
Pat Couch. Every week I've asked about the fire hydrants, and it's been fluffed off like it's not an important issue. I asked the assistant, the gentleman that was here last week, Mr. Senewick, about the fire hydrants. His response was, we're okay with that. I said, what do you mean we're okay with that? How many hydrants are down? His response again was, it's not a problem. Well, I think we do have a problem because last night there was a fire in one of the neighborhoods. The people that live in that neighborhood, I think, would very greatly disagree with we have a problem or don't have a problem because there was lack of water in that area. I think it should be addressed because it does affect our homeowners' insurance if there are fire hydrants not working in your area. It should be addressed. And when he said that it was not important, I don't know why it's not, especially to our fire department. They should be on top of how many hydrants are not functioning. Also, the dog issue is not resolved. That's another issue. I have not heard anything that's being done about that dog issue. And to mention about the cars that we have on our police department, I did hear a call where our police officer was in pursuit, going up 394, chasing a car for the second time, the same vehicle. That car outran our police officer, and he said on the scanner, I have to terminate my pursuit because his car is much faster than ours. And that's a rotten shame.
Rachel Eastman. I just wanted to say that I am part of a Boy Scout, Girl Scout den, and it was very nice that our chief of police held an event for our children. He sat down and did an interview with them. It was very lovely. He was teaching them about eye contact and how to conduct yourself in an interview. He did a great job. The kids loved it. They did an excellent job, and they're still talking about it this week. So I just wanted to say that was really awesome. And we did go to one night of open gym. That was enjoyable. They did have a good time. So I thank you guys for, even if it's little, I do appreciate the little bit because my children do enjoy it. And we look forward to going tomorrow. So we just want to say thank you for that. And that's all I had to say. Thank you so much.
Good evening. My name is Daniel Stevens. I just have a question. I ran a program here, a youth program a few years back that was cut short. I want to question how I can start another program here dealing with physical fitness, nutrition, and mentoring. So if I can get that information or someone can get that to me, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. In regards to not being able to get in touch or get involved, or when you called the village hall, you're not able to get anyone, I cannot speak on that because I'm not here at that time up front to see that. However, by you saying that, I'm hoping that you leave a callback number, and if you are leaving a callback number, then I need to find out if someone's calling you back. I cannot speak on why it wasn't answered at the time, because then I would be telling the truth, because I would not know. But at least if you're calling the village hall and you're not getting a answer, and you go and you're directed to whoever your call goes to, and you're not getting called back, that I need to know so I can address that issue. As far as uniform allowances, every year the police department gets uniform allowances. So when someone says they don't get uniform allowances, that's not true. Every officer by contract gets a uniform allowance. That's why certain things have to be, they should look a certain way, because we're paying, the village is paying, the taxpayers are paying officers to look a certain way. As far as the mold in the basement, I haven't heard any new things. I've been down there, I saw it, I didn't see any new mold. I didn't see any mold. So, but the basement is being addressed. That's some of the things that's being talked about that I guess is part of his list. But those are some of the things that the whole building is being addressed. So those are some of the things that have to be taken care of. And just for the record, I'm sorry that you may feel that it looks like a ghetto, and I don't understand that. As far as what can someone do if someone breaks a rule or whatever, I'm not looking to arrest anybody. If you come in and you're asked not to do X, Y, and Z, and you do it anyway, we just ask you to leave, and that's the only thing we can do. I'm not looking to make a big deal out of it. This is not a dictatorship, so why should we have a person arrested? That's stupid. We just ask that you not do it like we've been doing for over the years, and I wasn't the only trustee that asked for this policy. This was talked about before I became a trustee, but I brought it up again along with other trustees to have a gentleman's agreement. I think that was in 2006. So before that, I wasn't even on the board, so I don't know when that happened. Before that, the report on salaries be broken down. I'll find out. The next item, I really don't know. This is something that I contribute to social media. There's not an officer or person working for the village or whatever that didn't get paid. So if someone's telling you they didn't get paid, they're lying, fabricating, whatever you want to call it. But if you worked and you have a check coming, you got paid. As long as I've been the mayor, you're going to get paid. I mean, that's your job. I mean, that's my job to make sure that you're working for the village, that you get your check. Be it short or whatever, I have no idea. That could be, I don't see everybody's check. I don't see anyone's check, as a matter of fact, other than what mine is. I have no idea what they're getting. And if they're not getting the right amount, then they have steps that they need to take to make sure. But to put it out there to say I got paid short, what does that mean? That's just something that's, all I think is just something that's, for lack of a better word, it just doesn't make sense. That's not true. And I will stand here and tell you that that is not true. Every person that gets a paycheck got their paycheck. No one was short. So if they feel that my check was short, and I seen that too, then they should have said something or say something. But putting it out there on Facebook is not going to make your check. If your check was short, it was short. You need to find out from your supervisor why it was short, if it was short, and go from there. But to put it out there like that is not going to make it. If it is short, catch up. Social media can't catch your money up. So that's as we say all the time, that's social media. As far as town hall meetings coming back, something been talked about, I've heard, but I don't want town hall meetings to be a complaining session. I said that when I was doing town hall meetings. It's here to discuss the business. If it gets personal, yes, I stopped it, and I have stopped it when I was doing it, because sometimes it did get personal. And that's not what it's for. It's supposed to be here, being able to listen and then discuss pertinent issues going on in the village, and that's what it should be for. The fire hydrants, I was not aware that someone told you that it's not a big issue. It is a big issue. And those are going to be addressed, and we do have a list now. I get that out of how many hydrants are not operable, and we are working on that. Matter of fact, we're working on trying to get a loan, a low-interest loan that that we're trying to get, that we can have for 5 years, and at the end of the 5 years, it will be forgiven 80% of it. So that's something we're working on. But when I get more information, I will pass it on. But that's something that we need to do, and that's not just the fire hydrant, there's other things that need to be taken care of in the village too, that there may be money out there for that. So we're pursuing that. As far as hiring, I said before, we will hire police officers. How many we're going to hire depends on how much revenue we can generate from the new businesses that we got coming in and the new revenue we have coming in. But I am confident that we can at least hire 1 and hopefully maybe 2 officers with this, without any money taxing from the residents. No new taxes. As a matter of fact, as I stated before, your taxes went down 21% this year. It's gone down. It will go down 21% for your next tax statement that you get. It'll be 20 for the village portion. I'm sorry. Let me reiterate that. For the village portion, can't reiterate any other taxing body, but for the village portion, it will be down 21%. So there won't be any new taxes, and if we do get our officers, that won't be part of that. Now next year, if we don't have enough, or we don't have enough officers, or we feel that we need to do more, then I'll come back to then we need to raise taxes to do X, Y, more of the hiring if that's what's needed. But right now, I'm looking to do that without asking for extra money or extra taxes. I appreciate the comment about the Girl Scouts, and I did see that presentation, and it was a great job. As far as the program for physical fitness, if you can get that information to me, I'll pass it on. Mr. Carter is here. You can look at that to find out what it takes, what it entails, what we have to do, and do all of the due diligence to make sure that we can get this up and going. And if any finances have to be involved in that, all that has to be taken into consideration before anything is done. Okay, with that being said, comments, I'll start with Trustee Tate. Trustee Grant.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The only comment I have is tomorrow's Budget and Finance Committee meeting, 7 o'clock here in the Rotunda. That's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee Zupan.
Nothing tonight, thank you, sir.
Trustee Brewer.
Mr. Mayor, a couple of questions. Can you tell me, last accounts payable, there's $1,000 that was on the accounts payable for, it was for the firing range, and we paid, the accounts payable was paid, but I don't see anything where it was ever talked about or approved first before it was paid. Somebody just went out and spent $1,000 for the firing range. For the rental fee for the firing range. It was invoiced for $1,000.
Okay, are you asking that? Are you asking this question?
Is it in the budget? Is this an ongoing thing every month?
Okay, you see, you had two questions.
No, that was just that one question.
Okay.
Okay.
The firing range was put in, it's part of the chief. He sees his budget. If he feels he can pull it in there to utilize that firing range is something that's needed, to get certified. Officers need to go to the firing range. Prior to this, we could not utilize that firing range so the officers could qualify. They have to qualify. And it was asked, it was put in, the money wasn't allocated until after you voted it in or out. And I understand you did vote it out, and you didn't vote for it, but it passed to pay accounts payable, and that was part of accounts payable. So yes, he needed to get, which the officers have to qualify every year. And before we had to go somewhere else, he found this for $1,000 a year. It's unlimited use at that firing range that the officers need to come and qualify. So I don't know what kind of arrangement he made, but if we didn't have it before, because we didn't have any arrangement with Linwood to utilize their firing range. It was always whatever, I don't know, I didn't get into that part of it, but now we're able to use their range for $1,000 a year, and also about the, for the prisoner watch, we're using their facility for that too. Oh, for 2 years for $1,000? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was
2 years for $1,000.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we paying $1,000 for 2 years. Was that discussed?
Discussed by?
No,
No, it wasn't discussed.
it was in the budget.
Okay, again, he was able to, if he.
When did we talk about this?
Okay, are you gonna?
No, he.
I'm just saying, are you gonna? It doesn't have to. Okay, if he feels he has money in his budget to use that, he only has X amount of money. That means he must have circumvented something else in order to get that because he felt that was more important. So, he has that range, that free reign to do that.
Well, I'm not finished, but you can answer that.
Yeah, sorry, actually, I was gonna say, he did mention last week in the meeting that prior to that, they were going out to Joliet, to their range out in Joliet, and he was able to negotiate with Linwood at that cheaper rate, and that's why he did that. So he, in the budget, had already budgeted for going out to Joliet. So it became a cheaper rate to come closer here.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying it's on the accounts payable and nobody else. Anyway, another thing that I want to ask about is that we paid.
Was that the only one? You said yes.
No, I didn't. I said it was the only question I was talking about during that time. I got several questions I want to ask questions about. On page 3, also in last week's accounts payable was $335, I'm sorry, for the a remote starter. Can you tell me what that was for?
Trustee did you have a chance to ask those questions? I don't have anything in front of me about about the accounts payable. So why are you asking me about that now? You had a chance last week to ask that. Why is it coming up now?
Mr. Mayor, I looked at the accounts payable after I got it. That's when I wanted to ask about this $335, and it was for a remote starter. And somebody should know about why it was, who purchased it and why it was there.
As I stated, that was last week.
Okay, I'll ask
And
you
you
again
voted
next week.
against accounts payable, so obviously you must have looked at it.
Doesn't
But we're
mean
not
I looked at
talking
that
about-
particular
Pardon me?
expenditure. If
But
you don't
you
want to,
know-
if
but
you don't
you-
know the answer, just
but you
say, I don't
voted on that. I'm
know,
not-
because
I-
somebody's paying $335 for a
I didn't
remote
say I
starter.
didn't
That's a
know.
luxury item that we shouldn't have to pay
I
for.
did not say I didn't know, trustee. I said
Do
that's
you
not-
know
I'm
what
not
a 335?
discussing that now. No, I'm
Okay,
not.
well, that's
Thank
all you have to say. If you could send me a memo and let me know
No,
what
I'm
the
not gonna send you a
335
memo.
know.
I'm not gonna send you a memo. You can talk to the finance director and find out what it was for.
Okay, you don't know.
I didn't say I didn't know. I said I wasn't gonna answer that.
Okay, now, Mr. Mayor, I've been asking for different reports, financial reports from Ms. Stratum since August, various reports, and I haven't been able to get them. Now, as I got a bunch of stuff in relationship to a FOIA request, and I still have the same reports that I need. However, as I went through and looked at some of those reports, some of those things didn't quite add up. And it seems like to me that we need a forensic report, because I talked to Ms. Suffolk, and she said that we don't have the money. But we are getting all these reports, well, in response to the FOIA request, but we can't get any reports from Ms. Suffolk to even justify some of these expenditures on there. So I would like to put that out there to the next time we have a committee meeting, to talk about getting a forensic report, because something's not right here with the finances here in the village. Because we can't, it can't be determined why are we paying some of these things. Case in point, $335. So I would like to have that on the agenda for next time to be discussed.
Oh. Are you through?
I'm through with that question.
Okay, well, we're here for you.
No, I want the answer to the
I don't
question.
have,
I want
I don't
that.
have an
You don't
answer
have
to
an
that.
answer?
No, ma'am.
All right. Okay, and also I'd like to know who's actually over volunteering for the community center. Who's doing that from 4 to 6 on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday? Who's actually doing that? You don't have an answer for that either?
Trustee, you come to the village hall whenever you feel like it. You come up here at any time. Why today at 8:10 on a Tuesday did you ask a question that's been going since, I guess this guy's been doing this for the last 2 or 3 months, that you asked the question, who is this person? Did you just discover that this person was working there? I mean, you can come up to any time. You can be over, he's there Monday, Wednesday, Friday, from 4 to 6. You can go in and ask him who he is and find out what he's doing. Why are you asking me about it at this particular time? For what reason are you asking me what his name is and who is he?
Mr. Mayor, this is a public forum. I want to ask a public question. If you don't have an answer, then let's say I don't have an answer. Because I would like to know, not only me, who's running this community center on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you don't know, just say I don't know. I also would like to know if that person has had a background check. For some reason, if you don't know, just say I don't know.
Any other questions?
Do you know?
Any other questions?
Do you know
Do you
the
have
answer?
any other questions? I'm
Oh,
not
so
gonna
in
answer-
other words,
I'm
you're not going to
answering-
answer my question?
No, I'm not.
Okay, but all you have to say, I'm not going to answer your question. Okay? Well, you need to go then.
Pardon me? What'd you say? What did you say? I need to do what?
You need to go then.
I need to go.
Yeah, I was talking to whoever responded, to whoever said that, whatever they said.
Trustee, you holding this meeting up for whatever it is, for your own personal edification.
No, I'm not holding
Yes,
this
you
meeting
are.
up for
Yes,
that.
you
This is
are.
a public meeting, and you should be able to answer public questions. What's for what reason you can't answer any questions?
Questions at any time, trustee, but you want a grandstand. so
Now you're gonna tell me when I
Yes,
can and
you are.
cannot
You
answer
are.
questions?
You grandstand.
Mr. Mayor, you're wrong.
Okay,
You
well,
can't
I'm
come in there and tell me when I want to answer a question.
all you
If
do
I don't
is-
answer it, that's on me.
All you're doing is grandstanding now.
Well, that means both of us by you sitting there acting like an
I
idiot.
have nothing to say. I have nothing to say, but that's what I'm talking about. And you asked.
And you to ask us questions. People want to know what's going on in this village, and you don't want to answer the question, or maybe you don't know the answer. It's a simple question. Jesus.
Every week, this is what you do.
It's every week, because you here, that's what we do. It's not only me, it's you too. It's me, it's Burgess, Derek Burgess,
Okay.
and Bernice Brewer.
Okay, no, don't give me.
Because you don't want to answer questions.
I don't, no, but
You're supposed to run this village, but you don't have enough sense to answer them?
I'm not answering those questions at this particular point.
Oh.
Thank you. And
Okay.
you got anything else? Or you-
Also, I'd like to go back to the forensic audit and why we can't have one, and why I can't get any,
Who said we couldn't have a forensic audit? Who said that?
and why we can't get any.
Who said-
I said we can't get a.
You
We
said-
need
you
a
just said we
forensic
can't have
audit
a
because
forensic
we're
audit.
not getting any reports. You
just
tell me
stated-
why we can't get any reports from the finance director. Why is it that she can't give any reports? We have, if for some reason she can't have reports, that's what trustees are for, to watch the money. Why can't we get any reports from Ms. Suffin? I can give you 2 or 3 memos where she's saying, I'm gonna get to it, and she sits here every week and said, well, okay, I'll get to it. There's no reason why we can't get any reports. That's what we're here for, to watch the money. Maybe you don't know where the money is.
She's still talking. So if I happen to go to the next one, then, she's gonna talk over that person. I'm gonna let her get her little roll out.
Yeah, you finished grandstanding? I'm waiting for my answer.
I'm not answering any questions at this particular point. You have all the time in the world to ask me questions. Why you picked today, I have no idea.
And you can't tell me when I can and cannot answer questions.
And do you have anything else? Because I'm sure that other trustees have other things they want to bring before, if they have anything. Do you have anything else, trustee? Because I'm not going to go back and forth. That's what you want me to do. I'm not going to go back and forth. Do you have any other questions pertaining to anything? Did you have anything else to say? Do you have anything else to say, trustee? Trustee Carter, do you have anything? Trustee Todd, do you have anything?
There you go.
I'll accept the motion to adjourn. So moved and second. Moved by trustee Carter, second by trustee Tate. All in favor? Motion carried. Thank you.